Hi, it's Mike Merritt, bass player from the Conan Show, and just a shout out to ForBassPlayersOnly.com.
Bring us up to date on what you've been up to the last 3-4 years, or however long it's been since we last spoke.
Well, unfortunately, our Tonight Show tenure was short-lived, but since then we started a live tour in early 2010, and after the tour, we began our show on TBS in November 2010, and since then we've been on the air. So we're in our 3rd season, and things are going great over there. We're doing a great show. It's very funny. There's a lot of great things that we're doing. There's great music. I'm so glad to be playing with my bros, my buddies over there at the Basic Cable Band. You know, Jimmy Vivino is a great arranger, band leader, guitar player, one of my musical brethren for many, many years. I'm so happy that he's leading the band and all the other guys in the band, meeting The Worm on drums, Scott Healy on keyboards, La Bamba, Pender, and Jerry Vivino in the horn section. These are my bros. I like playing with them, and we just have a lot of fun every day. So that's been something that has been a constant. We do 4 shows a week, every week, and we're just keeping it fresh, and I get to play every day, which I love doing. Keep the chops up, keep myself loose, and get opportunities to play with different guest artists from time to time. The funny thing was, on one of our recent shows, must have been within the last few months, the musical guest was Steve Martin and Edie Brickell. They did a record together.
Yes.
So I can say I got to play with Steve and Edie.
There
That's an old joke for baby boomers who know Steve Larson and Edie Gourmet, but I digress. So it's been a great run, and we're settled in over there. We do our show at Warner Brothers, a great place to work, and a great crew, just a great vibe. You know, everybody's working together to make a good show every day. Couldn't be better.
Well, that's great. I know you've got some other stuff going on now.
Well, one interesting side project that I got involved with is with a band called Rock Candy Funk Party. This is a band that was started maybe before I got to LA in 2007 or so. Tal Bergman, who's our drummer, and Ron DeJesus, our guitar player, one of our guitar players, they started the Rock Candy thing. And then when I got out here in 2009, I literally bumped into Tal Bergman behind in the back outside area of the Baked Potato. And we just exchanged information. He knew who I was. He said, hey, you know, I know you're in town for the Tonight Show. Hey, you know, like, this thing, Rock Candy Funk Party, you know, we need a bass player, you know. So then, you know, as things worked out, I became part of the band. And we started playing the Baked Potato every few months. We do our gig there. So Tal happens to be drumming on Joe Bonamassa's touring band. So one of our Baked Potato appearances, he invites Joe to come down to the gig and sit in with us. Joe comes to the gig, he sits in, he's smiling, he's like just having a great time grooving with us, and he says, hey, you know, whenever you guys are doing this, you know, I'll come down and sit in, I'll be part of the band. We're like, you're in. So since then, he's been part of the band, as Joe and Ron DeJesus on guitars, myself playing bass, Tal Bergman on drums, Renato Neto on keyboards, and we've added a percussionist, Daniel Sedalnik, on percussion. So now we're a 6-piece band. And we did a record in 2013 called We Want Groove. And we sort of got together in the studio and wrote the material together and recorded it together, real old school. Everybody sitting in one room. Well, they don't call it tape anymore, but sort of let the tape roll, we come up with some ideas, and everybody...
They still call it records, though.
They call it records. And guys brought in ideas, and we fleshed out the ideas, and we turned them into what you hear on the record. So it was really a group effort from top to bottom, with Tal sort of overseeing the whole production, because we did it in his studio out in West Hollywood. There's a recording studio there where we did the project. And the record came out and got really good reviews. And if you check out the cover of the record, it might remind you of an album that Miles Davis put out in 1981-82 called We Want Miles. has sort of a yellowish color, and that was a kind of a template for our project. It was sort of an homage to that fine live Miles Davis record from the early 1980s. And we kind of celebrate that kind of a groove, as well as funky, groovy, instrumentally influenced by the Headhunters, sort of mid-70s Jeff Beck influences are in there a little bit, and with our own stuff, and with it being like now, you know, as well.
We talked about your dad last interview, Jimmy Merritt,
yes.
Legendary bass player Jimmy Merritt.
Yes.
And I understand you want to do something with his music and his compositions, and
yes,
prolonging his legacy.
My father has been composing music for a great number of years now, and a few of his compositions have turned up on some other jazz artists' records. Probably his most well-known among musicians is a tune he wrote called NAMM, which was first recorded with Max Roach on a record called Drums Unlimited from the mid-1960s. And several other artists have recorded his pieces, but there's a whole other body of work that he's composed that has not been exposed to the public, and I'm initiating a project where I'm going to get a hold of that material and sort of record it and make something as an homage to his legacy. Philadelphia Clef Club and honored him and fellow Philly bassist Reggie Workman with their Lifetime Achievement Award, and the City Council of Philadelphia gave them commendations celebrating their contributions to the jazz scene of Philadelphia and the world.
That's beautiful. You must be so proud of your dad.
I was at the ceremony, and I was very, very proud, smiling from ear to ear.
Oh, that's great.
So it was wonderful.
Tell me, Mike, what kind of equipment are you using these days?
Well, on the TV show, I'm using a Sadowski J bass, 4-string J bass, and I'm using an Aguilar 751 tube, power amp, head, etc. Big giant sucker, you know, it's like those big transformers in there. It's like a really solid piece of equipment. Great bass amplifier, and an Aguilar 115 cabinet. And whenever I play with guest artists on the show, I use the Aguilar Tone Hammer 500 head and two 112-inch, I believe they're SO 112 Aguilar cabinets.
The Sadowskis have become really popular lately. Why do you like the Sadowski? What do you like about it?
Well, I'm a jazz bass player, kind of like that's my sound. When I was a kid, the first bass that I had was a 64 jazz bass, Fender jazz bass that my dad gave me when I was about 15 years old. So that has always been kind of like my sound. And for working on television, for me, from the kind of playing that I do on the TV show, it's important for me to have an instrument where I can get several different tones. The jazz bass is good for at least a good 4 or 5 different tonal sounds. You go to the neck pickup, you can get a P-bass sound. You go to the bridge pickup, you get more of a trebly, throaty, kind of a Jocko, Rocco kind of a deal if you play down towards the bridge. And you can dial in some tonal variations in between without having to switch instruments.
Jocko Rocco.
Yeah. So with switching instruments is very tricky.
Yeah.
And in my spot, because I'm part of the rhythm section that's always playing, so it's hard for me to like shift gears and shift instruments. So I like to have an instrument that can give me several different sounds I can work with. And a jazz-based type instrument, for me, is the best suited for that job,
Great.
For how I do it.
Last question, Mike.
Yes.
What would you be if you were not a bass player? Something outside of music.
I don't know. Filmmaker. I always wanted to direct. I don't know. I never really thought about it. But I think when I was a little kid, I really got interested in wanting to make films and to tell stories using visual mediums. Hey. Never too late.
Never too late. Mike Merritt, great catching up with you. Let's not wait so long before we do it again.
Absolutely.
And good luck with all the projects. Much luck and continued success to you always.
Thank you.